Hey guys, it's Roy here from RWoco12 and EpicDroid.com, bringing to you today a review that I am super excited for. Today's review is on the NVIDIA SHIELD. The NVIDIA SHIELD Android TV. This is the Pro or 500 gig version, and like I said, I am super duper excited to be doing this review for you guys. As I was recording the review, I recorded the review before I'm recording the introduction, but as I was recording it, I did close to about 2 hours of footage. No worries, I have edited all that. If you look down at the little time thing in the window below, it should be less than 24 minutes by the time I'm done with all this. So I cut out the bulk of it and put it down just the most important things. First off, I want to say thank you to NVIDIA for making this video possible. NVIDIA was kind enough to send me this promotional unit, and they were kind enough to let me use this for the review, and I am absolutely in love with this thing. I come from a family where growing up, we did not have a lot of gaming systems. My parents weren't against gaming. They enjoyed playing games and they enjoyed playing them with us, but they also believed in hard work and they wanted us to earn the systems or the games if we wanted to play on them. When I was younger, my dad had a computer, and if I ever wanted to earn time playing Warcraft or Descent or some of those other computer games, I had to do chores, and I could only play for a half hour at a time based on the chores that I did. As I grew a little bit older, I started mowing lawns for people in the neighborhood. I started watching animals and would take care of people's pets when they were out on vacation, and I would do all sorts of odd jobs in order to earn some extra money. Well, that extra money turned into a couple of gaming systems that I still have. I got an N64, I got a PS1 in there, and I think I had every single version of the Game Boy up to the Game Boy Advance. I had tons of video, Game Boy games, tons of games for the PlayStation, tons of games for the N64. I also, once I graduated past those, I bought myself my first PC. I built it all by myself. I was super excited for that, and I did it with one goal in mind, and that was so that I could play video games. That was my whole life. I would work so that I could play video games, and I would sleep so that I could work so I could play video games. So as I grew up a little bit and grew a little older, I realized that wasn't the main focus of my life. I still enjoy a good game, and I'm not opposed to it. My kids know how to hook up the N64. They know how to hook up the PlayStation 1. They know how to play games on my tablet or on my computer. We do limit the amount of time that they can play on it, but we don't limit them and say you can't play on it. And as part of that, the NVIDIA SHIELD is going to be taking the place of those other gaming systems. My family has fallen in love with this thing, and to use their catchphrase, it rules my living room. It has replaced my N64, it has replaced my PlayStation 1, it has replaced my laptop that I use as a media center, and it has also replaced a lot of the other things that we had just lying around. It has also replaced my Chromecast, for that matter. But the Android SHIELD TV, the moment that I knew it had caught on and that it was going to be sticking with our family, was late one night. My son and I had been playing Bomb Squad on the NVIDIA SHIELD, and we were having a blast. We were having a lot of fun, and so then it was time for me to go do some things. I think I put my daughter to bed and let my boy play for just a few more minutes. He played some, I think it's called Evolution Shark is the name of the game, and you'll see him playing that here in a few minutes. He loves that game. And so after I put my daughter to bed, got her ready for bed, whatever it was, I came back downstairs. My son and I started putting away the system so he could get ready for bed, and I made eye contact with my wife. Now, my wife isn't against video games, but she hates when we waste our time on video games. And so I was completely caught off guard when she gave me this little grin and she says, "Can I try a game?" And she ended up playing, and I had to try and convince her to go to bed a little bit later. So it was then I realized that the NVIDIA SHIELD had taken over my living room, and that it ruled our living room. And so my wife signs off on it, my kids sign off on it, both my son and my daughter love this. I love it. My friends have come over and have played it with me, and they love it. I cannot find a single person who has had one bad thing to say about the NVIDIA SHIELD, other than the issue that I had with mostly with my son, not being able to hold the controller right. I do have to say, you guys do need to go out and buy this. I'm going to save you the time of watching the whole video, but at the end of it, I promise you I'm going to tell you that you need to go out and buy it. Alright, so first things first is we're going to look at the device itself here. So this is the NVIDIA SHIELD. This is what makes the whole thing work. It's the brains of the operation. So the NVIDIA SHIELD comes in a couple of different pieces, or I should say one piece that looks like it's made up of several pieces. They are all triangular in shape, very angular, very sharp looking. The different pieces have different textures to them. This here is a reflective black surface. Here we have a matte black, another matte black, and another matte black. And then if you get even more of an angle, you can see that the little triangle edging here is also a reflective black surface. One of the really cool things about this, I'll show you guys here in a second, is this piece here will actually light up with a super bright neon NVIDIA green color that is your power power indicator, and it's super awesome. It actually increases the coolness factor of the device by like 10-fold. And then here on this piece right here, we have a little capacitive button that's a NVIDIA logo. That NVIDIA logo, there we go. You use that as a capacitive touch. You can press it to turn it on and off, and it's not plugged in right now, so my touching it isn't doing anything. And you also hold it down in order to pair it with the controller or the remote. Here on the front, we have a infrared sensor. That sensor there allows you to connect to older universal remotes. It allows you to use those remotes with the NVIDIA Shield without having to spend the $50 on a NVIDIA remote controller. I was a military brat as I was growing up, and what that means is my dad was in the military. He started out with the Navy, and then he ended up going to the National Guard. While he was doing that, we had the opportunity to live on a military base in Japan, and on that military base there was an airfield, and I had the opportunity once to go out to one of these hangars on the airfield, and I got to sit in the cockpit of an F-16. It was awesome. I thought I was going to be a fighter pilot someday, and I was super excited to be able to do that. Well, that dream never happened. I'm not a fighter pilot. I'm the farthest thing from a fighter pilot. As I was looking at this, as I opened up the box, it immediately brought to mind the image of a F-117 Nighthawk, which is by far the coolest of the stealth jets that is out there. So as you can see here, the green does light up. It fades out slowly as it gets out further away, and here it does the same thing. Just one more thing that adds to the coolness factor of the device. The bottom of the device continues with that angular, sharp look to it, and here we have a rubber foot. This rubber foot is what provides the seating for the device. I do like that a lot because a lot of devices like these, you have 4 rubber feet that are on the edges. When you have kids, one thing that you'll find is kids like to destroy things, and those rubber feet frequently end up missing on the bottoms of your devices. This is a nice solid one that my kids are never going to tear off, and I won't have to worry about it sitting flat and then wobbling in one corner because one of the kids is tearing off one of the feet. It also has a brushed metal texture to it, which is kind of a cool feature there, because the NVIDIA Shield can be stood up on edge. Now, I don't recommend standing it up on edge unless you've got something holding it up on the side so it doesn't tip over. It's not the most sturdy design where the device is so thin it's not meant to be stood up on its side, but they do sell a separate stand that you can use to stand that up. Now, the back here is one of the cool features of the NVIDIA Shield. It just looks like a bunch of empty holes. For those of you who are geeky, you know what those holes are. Here we have a power, we have HDMI out, we have an Ethernet in, we have USB 3 on both of these ports, and these are in or out, so you can use it to charge devices as well as to plug other devices into it. We have a micro USB port for the same thing as the USB ports, and then we have a micro SD port. What the USB 3 does is it gives you the ability to add additional devices for storage to the NVIDIA Shield. It allows you to hook other USB devices in for interacting with the Shield. I was able to hook in a webcam, I was able to hook in a USB mouse and a USB keyboard. I was able to use it to hook up a flash drive as well as a hard drive. I was able to use the micro USB for the same thing, and the micro SD slot also for providing that additional storage. Then you have, in addition to that, there's also the ports that you don't see. So you have the Wi-Fi, then you also have the Bluetooth, and then the infrared. And so if you have a Bluetooth keyboard that you want to hook up, go ahead, hook it up. You have a Bluetooth mouse that you want to hook up, go ahead, hook it up. If you have a bunch of Bluetooth controllers lying around, you can use those as well. So there is a lot of cool things that those ports and the NVIDIA Shield allows you to do that you don't see in a lot of competitive or competitors' products. If I have a Xbox 360, I have to jump through bells and whistles in order to get a non-Xbox 360 controller to work with it. If I have a PlayStation, I have to get something specifically designed for the PlayStation. With this, it just has to have a USB connection or a Bluetooth connection, and I can go ahead and connect it. That being said, there are some issues with that at times. I did hook up a Bluetooth controller for some of the games that my son and I were playing. It worked awesome for the most part. However, we got to some racing games and there is a right trigger up in the top corner. That trigger did not work when we were using it on the multiplayer game. So my son, he was able to turn the car around, he was able to brake, he was able to do everything except for accelerate. So we don't use that controller for racing games. The device is designed for NVIDIA products. However, because NVIDIA is looking for the people that are budget minded and that they may not necessarily have the money for a $60 controller or $50 remote, they give you the ability to use other devices as well. So this here is an NVIDIA SHIELD controller. This controller goes for about $60 on Amazon, but this controller is also included with the NVIDIA SHIELD as part of the base package, so you will get at least one when you order it. The NVIDIA SHIELD controller does have a very Xbox look and feel to it. The controls are, I mean, almost identical, and the way that it fits in your hand is almost identical. It's a very good fit. It fits my hands very well. One thing that I did have issues with while I was using it, not while I was using it, but while my children were using it, is that this here is your volume control. And so when you're pushing on this, you push on this side to turn it up or this side to turn it down. I don't quite know how my kids are doing it, but when they're holding it, they hold it and they kind of put their palms on it right there, their whatever that piece of your thumb is called, but they always put it on there, and the volume is always going way up or way down, and it's spazzing out all over the place, and the kids are wanting me to turn it up or to turn it down because they're messing it up over and over again. So that is one thing to look out for. Because of that, and because I got tired of having to change the volume, my kids don't use this remote anymore, and they use the cheap knockoff one. So as I was saying earlier, the controller does definitely have an Xbox look, or Xbox controller look and feel to it. It comes with all the bells and whistles that you would see on a normal modern day controller. You have your trigger buttons up here, your R2 and your L2. You have your R1 and your L1 in the top corners. You have your directional pad, you have your A, B, X, Y buttons, and you have your joysticks that also have the cool little clicky features for interacting with some of your games. Here at the bottom we do have the volume control. One cool thing about this volume control is that it also doubles as a trackpad. So if you use the NVIDIA controller with a NVIDIA SHIELD tablet or tablet K1, I'm guessing it also does it with the portable. You don't need it with the portable though, as it's built in, but this works as a trackpad as you would find on a mouse, and so it's clicky as well, so you can use that as you would a mouse on a computer or on a tablet, I guess. But it also then doubles as your volume control on those as well. And then here at the top we have the back button, the home button, and then a play pause button, and this allows you to interact with the NVIDIA SHIELD in different ways. This does light up. It is touch sensitive and works there. So another cool feature is that you do have the headphone jack here. This headphone jack allows you to plug in some headphones, and then whoever's using this can sit and listen to the game that they're playing without everyone else listening in and hearing them. And then you have the micro USB port for charging. So this is the controller, the controller. Sorry, I keep mixing up remote control and controller. They are too similar in my mind. But yeah, it is an awesome controller. It is a little bit on the heavier side. I do like that, though. I don't feel like I'm ever going to break it. If I drop it, it's not going to shatter on impact, and I don't feel like it's going to snap in my hand. So I definitely love this controller, and I would recommend getting a second one. I am okay with the knockoff controller that I have and have been using for my children, but I would much rather have a second NVIDIA controller for my multiplayer games and things like that. So this here is the NVIDIA remote control. This is one of the coolest little things ever. And by little, I do mean it is little. It fits in the palm of my, barely fits outside the palm of my hand, but it is super tiny, super lightweight, and I feel like it's the I feel like it's the cutest little thing I've ever seen for a tech product, but it's not just cute, it's also awesome. It does come with the plastic body, so this is all plastic here, but the majority of it is actually metal. So this metal here, it's a brushed metal surface. We have that same surface here on the back. It wraps around, and then here in the center of that is the coolest feature of the remote, and that is the volume control. It's a capacitive touch, so you just swipe your finger up and down to turn the volume up and down, and I don't know what it is. There's just something super satisfying about doing that. It is awesome. And then the other things that you have on here, it has your directional button. So this is your directional pad, up, down, left, right. Here's your OK button. Here's the back button. Here's a home button, and here's a voice search button. So I didn't talk about it on the remote control or on the controller or with the remote, but the voice control on this is one of the awesomest features of the device. The voice search, I'm sorry, not voice control, voice search is by far the most accurate voice search I've ever seen. It is based off of Android, but the audio quality, or how it picks up the audio, mic quality, that's what I'm looking for, is super awesome, and it pulls in a lot more accurate sound than I find with a lot of my other devices. Tell it I want to listen to a Lionel Richie song, it plays my Lionel Richie song. If I tell it I want to listen to 3 Days Grace or Marilyn Manson, it pulls that up without any problem. If I tell it I'm looking for a video by Studio C, it pulls it up right away. If I'm telling it to search for a specific app or a specific game, it finds it without any problem. And if it doesn't find it, it then gives you a recommended search or a recommended search listing trying to guess what it was that you were looking for. And 9 times out of 10, it's extremely accurate. Alright guys, so here I am with the NVIDIA SHIELD TV. It is turned on, everything is up and running. Here we do have the basic Android TV interface. As you can see, it does have this recommended section here, so it's telling you I should watch Slow Jam with the news with President Obama. It's got some Crackle connections, play movies, GeForce Now, got all sorts of different things in here, and just recommendations from NVIDIA as far as what I might be interested in watching or playing. Here is the next section. This is the Shield Hub. Shield Games is your basic games, and this does allow you to install games to your device. These are games that you can play for free or you can pay for. Several of them are, as you can see, for purchase or free. I have not done a lot of these games yet. I focus more on the GeForce Now. There were a lot more games that I enjoyed a little bit more in there. But here you have it. It tells you the price, the full description, add to wish list, flag is inappropriate. So those are just a couple of things that you can do. And so in here there are several different games. There's a top paid section, top free, indie corner, multi-controller, genres, and then you have your settings down here in the bottom, and so forth, so on. So this is a lot like the Google Play Store. So we're going to go back here and we're going to look at GeForce Now. So GeForce Now is where the true power of the device is unlocked. GeForce Now is an awesome product where it takes your Shield TV and it connects it to a bank of awesome supercomputers, servers, whatever you want to call them, that are up in the cloud, and it allows you to play these games at a full 1080p. There's all sorts of different games in here, and there's a lot of different options. A lot of these games are included with your membership. That membership was $7.99 a month, so it's a lot like Netflix for video games. And so a lot of these games are included in that subscription. So here we have Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform, Playbox Turbos, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine. That game is insanely fun and insanely addictive, but holy cow, don't play it with your kids. But then you have other games in here that are games that you can pay for. So you have Dead Island, you have Hearts at Redux, you have Witcher 3, you have Mad Max, you have a lot of newer games, a lot of really fun games, and games, that just... yeah, they're awesome. But those are the paid ones. And those are games that you buy in addition to your subscription. They also have a new for members section. They do have a mix of paid and free games in here. They also have a most popular section, Tomb Raider, Lego Movie video game. They have Witcher again, The Wild Hunt. They have all these different games that you can do for, as part of that. So they even have Borderlands on here, and Borderlands is included for free. And so these are all different games or different things. They have categories, fun for kids, they have Batman, they have other genres, action, adventure, arcade, family, puzzle, racing, role-playing, simulation, sports, and strategy. Down here in the bottom they have the types. You have a buy and play instantly, so these are games that you purchase, and then you're playing them through that streaming service so that you actually are playing them on your system local, or you're seeing it on your system locally, you're interacting with it locally, but it's all being stored up in the cloud on those awesome servers. You have an included with membership and a multi-controller. I find myself using an included with membership and the multi-controller the most, just because that's what suits my needs. So included with membership, you have a ton of different games. They have Alpha Protocol, they have Asta Breed, they have Batman Arkham Asylum, they have Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, Bionic Commando, Blaze Blue, Omni Trigger, The Book of Unwritten Tales, Borderlands, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. They have tons of games in here. I think I counted almost 100 different games. They have most of the Lego games in there. My kids love doing the Lego games, so that was awesome there. And there's, as you can see, there's tons of different games that you can play. Then you have the multi-controller one, where it goes through. These are just games that will work with multi-controller, so you can have more than one individual playing them at a time. There are both free and paid games mixed in with these. So this is the awesomest part of it. Again, it was $7.99 a month. It does come with parental controls. So Warhammer, the Warhammer 40,000, 30,000, whatever it was, I can play it I have my password, but my kids can't play it. So that's a nice little feature there. Okay, so coming back here to the home screen, this is where you can see the games and the apps as well. These are games that are installed through the Google Play Store on the device. What that means is that when you install games to the device, if you do it from the device, the Shield automatically filters out games that are optimized for use with the Shield. There are games that do have controller support or do have Android TV support. If you install them by pushing them from the Google Play Store, or if you sideload them, they may not appear in this list. I do have several games that are installed on here that are not showing in this list. I'll show you how to get those in just a second. But these are some of the games that I have installed on here. I've installed and uninstalled a couple just trying things out, but these are the family favorites. That one, my wife is hooked. hooked. So was my son. I'm hooked on this one in the Final Fantasies, but that's a story for the other day. Here you have your apps. There is a lot of apps in here that you can use as well that are optimized for Android TV and for the Shield. The Google Play Store, you can get all your stuff there. You can get games from the Google Play games. Those are games that are, again, optimized for Android TV and for NVIDIA Shield. You have Plex. So this was a brand new announcement. This is now a Plex media server. I have not gotten into that yet, and I have not been able to play with it, but I'm excited to be able to do so. From what I understand, the NVIDIA Shield will be taking place of the Plex server that I have plugged in down in my basement. So then you can go through, you also have your Google Play Movies TV, YouTube, Google Play Music. I have VidAngel installed on there. You have Photos, Videos. I also have Crackle and Pandora and Sideload Launcher. So this is what I was telling you about earlier. This is the way that you can get apps and games that are installed either via sideloading or pushing from the web service. So with the Sideload Launcher, it does go through and it sees what apps you have on here. So as you can see, I've already installed Dropbox. I've got this Lego Batman that was not on there, and I've got Minecraft Pocket Edition. I'll have a video later on showing you guys how to get that Minecraft Pocket Edition. It works awesome. My son loves playing it. But these are all different apps, and it does give you all the it does not give you all the apps, but it gives you the majority of them, and it gives you ones that you can launch through this Sideload Launcher. And it just replaces your home screen for those particular apps. So that here is the home screen. Here in the settings, we have a lot of other options. The device comes with a lot of cool features right out of the box. It looks awesome. It looks great on the TV. It's got all these features that are related to games and apps and such. But what really gets down to the fun things is in the way that you can add different devices to it. You can optimize it for use with your TV. HDMI, that's what I'm looking for. So you can do your resolution, you can do a dynamic range, and you can adjust for overscan. That's what I was looking for. And so this is one that I ended up using in order to get my thing, because when I set it up originally, these arrows, they tell you what the device is set for. It was set up like this. So I just had to fix it, get it all zoomed down to where you can see the arrows, and presto, my TV works just like a 4K TV. Not the same quality, but it actually fits on the screen, and it looks awesome. So they have that. They also have this audio video sync. If you're using a receiver, there's a little bit of a delay sometimes with the video and the audio synchronizing with each other. You can customize that there. There's a lot of other really awesome features that you can customize it with. I'm not going to go into it because if I was doing that, I would run out of film or space on my SD card. Well, I haven't talked about film in years, but we'd run out of storage eventually, and I would still be covering features while my camera had powered off. So there are a lot of cool things on here. It does come with Google Cast. It has the Chromecast built into it. For the first time ever, I've been able to use a Chromecast without any issues. I have had a first-generation Chromecast since the day it came out. I had issues with that. I ended up returning it, had issues with the one I replaced it with, sold that one to a friend. He had no problems with it, but then I had issues with it, so I'm led to believe that it's my TV that's the issue. But I have no issues with my Chromecast anymore because it's built into the NVIDIA Shield. So that's the device, that's the software that we have here. As you can see, it has a lot of cool features. It is basically an Android TV with a little bit of extra bells and whistles added in. It does very well with everything streaming related. It does very well with the gaming, and it's a blast. And so to help me here with the gaming, I'm going to have my son come over here, and he's going to help show us how to play a couple of video games. Just a couple of quick clips, and we'll go from there. All right, so here's my son, and he's going to show us his favorite game here. He's using the NVIDIA Shield controller. He doesn't normally get to do that, but okay, but go ahead and go and play your game. He normally gets to use the knockoff controller so that he's not messing with the volume left and right, but he gets to play it, and we normally don't let him stand this close to the TV either, but I needed to for the video. So as you can see, I mean, he's sitting here using the controller. It is very responsive. He's not having any issues with it lagging on him. It's very responsive. He does have some issues getting hit by the jellyfish or the toxic waste sludge things, but he has been able to control the shark, and he's able to do it without any problem. He has gotten pretty far on this. I think his high score so far is 10 or 15 minutes. But he loves playing the game. We let him play it as a reward for doing his chores and his homework and such. But it is a great device for kids as well as for adults. My wife likes playing this game. She likes playing a couple of other games, and I've gotten her to play with me as well. But this is just one of the many features that the device has, and I could show you a couple of other games here. I'm not going to today. I'll let you guys go ahead, and when you get the Shield TV for yourself, you'll be able to experience those and try it out. But now, what do you think, bud? Should they get the Shield?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Awesome. Alright, so here we are back again, and so like I warned you earlier, I'm going to tell you to buy this. The Android Shield TV is the awesomest device that I've ever used. I can say without reservation, this is my favorite Android device. It is ruling my living room, it's not going anywhere, and I am super in love with it. So the links are in the description below. Definitely click those, order the device for yourself, get it in your living room, and enjoy it like I have been enjoying it. Like I said, only thing I found wrong with it was the volume control on the controller. I have no complaints. I love this thing. And I want to tell NVIDIA, huge thank you for this. When I did this review, I was not expecting to like the device as much as I have. This big old box that I have over here with the N64 and PlayStation 1, I can tell you it's going to be staying here in the basement for a long time to come because I'm still a little bit too fond to get rid of them, but it's not going to be going anywhere beyond that, and it's not going to be getting taking the place of my NVIDIA Shield anytime soon. But again, links are in the description below. Huge shout out to NVIDIA. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate this opportunity to partner with you guys on this review. Thank you to all of you for watching, and thank you for your support. If this video has been helpful to you, please give us a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and as always, thank you for watching and have an awesome day.